Hello fight fans, thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, Donald Trump hails Khabib Nurmagomedov as his favorite UFC fighter. Moving on, Conor McGregor unloads on Donald Trump for saying Khabib Nurmagomedov is his favorite fighter. Next, Dana White rips voters who don't have Jon Jones #1 pound for pound. Lastly, Conor McGregor claims Khabib Nurmagomedov fled his country after terrorists from his gym committed an act of terror. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has hailed former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov as his favorite UFC fighter. Trump is a known fight fan and has been in attendance for plenty of UFC events. Whenever he is in attendance, fighters have often given him a shutout or praise. However, Trump has never shared who his favorite fighter of all time is, despite Colby Covington claiming to be that individual. Recently, speaking on Adin Ross's live stream on Kick, Donald Trump revealed that Khabib Nurmagomedov is his favorite fighter of all time. Here is what he said. Well, I think Khabib was 29-0, and then his father died and he stopped. I think he never lost a round. He fought many times, he never lost a round. I got to meet him at a fight 2 fights ago as I walked in with Dana. I met Khabib and he said, "You are the man who could stop the war," talking about the war in Ukraine and Russia. Although Trump says Khabib Nurmagomedov has never lost a round, that isn't the case. Instead, Khabib lost a round to Conor McGregor and 1 to Justin Gaethje, but it still is incredible that he only lost 2 rounds in his entire UFC career. It was an interesting comment from Donald Trump, and it is a bit of a surprise as Colby Covington has claimed he is the former president's favorite fighter for years. But instead, Trump has called Khabib his favorite fighter of all time as he was impressed with his skill set and his dominance. Khabib Nurmagomedov finished his MMA career with a record of 29-0 and retired following his second-round submission win over Justin Gaethje at UFC 254 in 2020. He had defended his lightweight title 3 times and was the longest reigning UFC lightweight champion ever, having held the title from April 2018 to March 2021. In his career, he holds notable wins over McGregor, Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Rafael dos Anjos, and Edson Barboza, among others. Conor McGregor has taken aim at former United States President Donald Trump after he revealed Khabib Nurmagomedov as his favorite fighter. Trump has been an avid fan of MMA and the UFC for years, and he usually attends a couple of events each year. On Monday, while doing Adin Ross's live stream on Kick, Trump revealed Khabib is his favorite fighter of all time, which caught many by surprise. Following Donald Trump's comments, Conor McGregor took to social media and blasted the former president. McGregor believes Trump saying Khabib is his favorite fighter will cost him the election. Here's what he said. Campaign-ending decision. A smelly fat mountain monkey from the inbred mountains of Dagestan is your favorite UFC American company fighter? Wow. Abysmal. I was actually wrong. Couple $100 million he is worth. Not multi-B. I would have thought USA only would be the mentality here and what I would want to see out of my president, personally. To pick a retired inbred fighter from Dagestan, Russia, who has 3 main events only to his name is astounding. Over all the American fighters that have backed him, it's a shocking decision. He was caught on the spot. That won't go unnoticed on the roster. This presidential race is very tight right now. More so now. Conor McGregor didn't stop there as he continued to take aim at Donald Trump and Khabib Nurmagomedov for his comments. Trump's favorite fighter. Here he is in a tiny tub with his fellow inbred pals in Dagestan. Can you spot him? Where's Khabib? Find Khabib. It's clear that Conor McGregor is not a fan of Donald Trump picking Khabib Nurmagomedov as his favorite fighter, as the two were rivals. Jon Jones currently sits at number 3 in the UFC's pound-for-pound rankings, and that, to Dana White, is worth scorching the earth over. Lightweight champion Islam Makhachev is at number 1, and behind him is light heavyweight champ and former middleweight title holder Alex Pereira. UFC CEO White has been banging the Jones #1 drum for a while, which he admits flies in the face of the history of his very public spats with the current heavyweight and former light heavyweight champ. But White doesn't care whom people put at number 2 or 3 as long as Jones is atop the chart. Here is what he said. Jon Jones is ranked number 3 pound for pound in the UFC. That is the most ridiculous, embarrassing, stupid, know nothing about fighting ranking of all time. Much of the debate over Jones's placement has to do with his inactivity. He won the heavyweight title in March 2023, putting him on the short list of fighters to hold belts in 2 UFC weight classes. He was set to return in November 2023, but suffered a training injury. Now Jones is expected to fight former heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic in November at Madison Square Garden. Stipe Miocic lost the heavyweight title to Francis Ngannou in March 2021 and has been inactive ever since. By virtue of his record 3 consecutive UFC heavyweight title defenses, defenses and 2 reigns as champion, he's regarded by many as the greatest heavyweight in history. But it will be 44 months between fights if the November date comes to fruition, nearly 4 years. But Jones's win over Cyril Gane for the heavyweight strap is his only fight since early 2020, which has critics asking how someone with 1 fight in 4.5 years can be a valid #1 pound-for-pound fighter. Talking to the media, here is what Dana White said. Jon Jones is still an active fighter. He beat Cyril Gane, he got injured, he was supposed to fight, he's going to fight again in November. Jon Jones is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, period. End of story. Whoever you want to call, Islam, Pereira #2-3, all good. To have anybody above Jon Jones right now just goes to show that you know absolutely nothing about combat sports and fighting. Tom Aspinall won an interim heavyweight title after Jones got injured, and his return timetable was revealed to be a minimum of 8 months. He defended that interim belt with a quick finish of Curtis Blades a week ago, and the consensus opinion is he should be fighting Jones to unify the belts. White thinks Aspinall against the winner makes things more interesting, though. Here is what he said. You've got 2 sides of the coin. Everybody's talking about, oh, Dana doesn't respect this guy and he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. It's a fight that they both want to happen. Total respect fight. I think they both deserve it. I get it. Everybody wants to see Tom Aspinall versus Jones. But let me tell you what, after Stipe Miocic and Jon fight, whoever wins, the Aspinall fight's even bigger. But when all is said and done, White thinks ranking Jones below Pereira and Makhachev is the result of people lashing out at Jones the person and not looking only at Jones the fighter. Outside the cage, Jones has had a myriad of arrests, legal run-ins, positive drug tests, and was stripped of the 205-pound title multiple times by the UFC. When looking at greatest of all-time conversations in MMA, Jones likely always will hold a strong argument as the best ever. Conor McGregor has made another startling accusation against Khabib Nurmagomedov as their feud continues. It's been almost 6 years since we saw Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov square off. On that night, it was Khabib who was able to get the better of the Irishman in a grueling battle. Ever since then, of course, fans have been waiting to see whether or not they'd ever have a rematch. Up to this point, it hasn't happened. What has happened, though, is that McGregor has continued to take shots at the Dagestani star and his family. From the Irishman's point of view, it doesn't seem as if this feud will ever be settled. In a since-deleted tweet, Conor had the following to say in yet another shocking rant. He fled his country after terrorists from his gym committed an act of terror in their city. He was banned from leaving and he fled. If he goes back to Russia, he is locked up instantly. I am currently in an auction to buy the house that was repossessed from him. It's going. It feels strange to think that they'll never actually fight one another again. After all, it's such a legendary rivalry, and yet they only met once inside the cage. Khabib seems to be pretty at peace with that. Yet while McGregor plans to return to the octagon, he'll likely never get the opportunity for true revenge. What do you make of the latest outburst made by Conor McGregor? Do you believe we will see him compete in the Ultimate Fighting Championship this year? If not, do you think it will ever happen? Let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.